What's up, everybody? It's David Downs, senior editor at Leafly, creator of SF Weed Week, a lineup of events in San Francisco around 420, modeled on SF Beer Week, with a little bit of an Amoeba Records store in-store and an art gallery opening for a month as well. It is taking San Francisco by storm. We've gotten 20 plus media hits, 3,000 RSVPs. We had 250 plus people to our opening gallery night, and we just have all the momentum, as they say. Thanks so much for letting me speak on cannabis tourism with this fine group. I made SF Weed Week last year because I saw SF Beer Week and I thought I want to go to there, but for cannabis. And it was weird that it hadn't been made. And I talked to my colleagues who are friends in San Francisco, especially at my Chronic Culture headquarters co-working space. They all said, we need to do it. And so that gave me the motivation to pursue it. How is it special? I think we've really broken through on the cannabis event space by centering the cannabis. I was just in Barcelona where I was soaking up all the creativity of Gaudi, and one of my favorite quotes from Gaudi, the sculptor and painter and master, was that if you want to be original, you want to get to the origin. And the origin here is the super fine weed. And so I went out and I got my favorite 7 growers. I smoke 400 strains a year for Leafly, and I programmed them the way like Coachella programs its headliners. And everything else came in organically after you scented the cannabis. So if I jump over to best practices, one thing I see is that real cannabis enthusiasts have not been fully satiated yet. They've barely been satisfied. And so events that like try to decenter the cannabis are gonna struggle more than events that cater to the core interest there. How am I doing education? I'm not. I'm gonna do a really big sort of drop a bomb and say education doesn't work. People, when you say you're going to educate them, they tune out. People are self-interested and they know what they know, and I challenge the assumption that cannabis people aren't highly educated and highly aware of what's going on. We've seen an extremely sophisticated crowd turn out and come up to speed really fast on the concept. To humor the question, we have a media kit that's available as a Dropbox link that includes a press conference and other materials that help people get their heads around SF Weed Week. And we've seen earned media hits reflect our messaging. They're clearly opening it up. They're reading that stuff. They're getting their brains around it. And it's working. One of the other sections asked about wellness. We are pretty much focused on our high THC core flower consumer, which is buying the majority of the pod in the world. And so the wellness conversation is less in the foreground. Of course, all these products have wellness uses. All of our high THC consumers have wellness issues that they're using it for, but it's more expansive than a wellness bucket. This is about the wellness of San Francisco and the wellness of cannabis culture. Our mission is to be thriving, to like foster a thriving and exemplary city of San Francisco and cannabis culture. When your community is thriving and exemplary, wellness follows. It's hard to have one before the other. Amenities. I mean, we have an art gallery for a month. It's open 7 days a week, 12 to 5. And we give people water and a place to sit and snacks. We just try to think about our audience and make sure that they're taken care of and they're comfortable. All of the lounge nights have amazing amenities. They're multi-million-dollar facilities, and they're some of the best third spaces to be in the city. That's why we're highlighting them and driving audience into them. To like hammer it home, the key feature of SF Weed Week is 7 badass growers releasing 7 hype strains in 7 beautiful lounges over 7 nights in the run-up to 420. That was my goal for it, and we have achieved that goal. Reach goal was a 1,200 piece art show for cannabis that's in a gallery for a month. And that thing is so cool, it's just breaking people's brains. So the question about special interiors or exteriors, yeah. Go check out the Get to the Bag art show at Mirror's Gallery, or check it out on sfweedweek.com. we created this highly Instagrammable space that is kind of like the archive of cannabis graphic design. Specifically, we exhibited all the cannabis mylar bags. Marijuana comes in bags, and it's a $60 billion industry when you count traditional and adult use and medical. And we found that these bags are a form of visual conversation for the culture. When you see them all, you get a sense of the mylar bag as a mirror into the psyche of the cannabis user, as well as a kind of a blank slate, a tabula rasa, a canvas that our most creative people are designing on. We have tons of best practices to share. I'm at the 5-minute mark, but if I had to sum it up, I would say do it now. That's why I'm doing this video while I'm walking to the post office box to get my mail, getting my steps in San Francisco, staying healthy, staying hydrated. You got to start 6 months ahead. You got to start 9 months ahead. You're going to have to count on cannabis people showing up 10 days ahead, 11 days ahead of the event and being like, how do I get in? And you're going to have a flow through for them. But you have a competitive edge when you put on your big boy pants and start planning things a year out, 6 months out. Break out your Gantt chart, G-A-N-T-T. Go Google that word. Block out when things actually need to happen and what order they need to happen and what needs to happen simultaneously. Be transparent. Socialize your process. Turn all of the process into content that your followers can follow along with and get a sense of the project and get a sense of your progress. There's nothing better, more motivating than committing publicly to what you're going to do and showing people the process on the way. You'll be surprised who will step in alongside you to help you with that journey. People, I think, are rooting for you when you send it. There's so many best practices. Stay lean, stay cheap, bootstrap it, use off-the-shelf products. We're on Gmail and Google Docs and Google Forms and Google Sheets and Google Drive and Dropbox and Eventbrite. Nothing's custom. You don't need to spend any money on technology. All of the solutions are available. The thing that makes the difference is programming or the creativity, the imaginative part. Don't get lost in the weeds on like a vendor. You can contact me at david@sfweedweek.com, as in San Francisco Weed Week. You can Google me, David Downs Journalist. You'll see the various ways to get at me. I hope this is helpful. It's really just the skim of the surface of our learnings. And I wish you the best of luck with everything you're programming for this audience. Think of this audience. Serve this audience. I wake up every day and I say, serve the reader, and I stay close to the plant. And that has worked for me, and it can work for you. But if it starts being about someone or yourself instead of the service of the audience, you're going to have a lot harder of a time. Get at me with follow-ups. Thank you for the invite. Thanks for the opportunity to speak. Be well. Take care. I'm David Downs, Senior Editor at SF Weed Week, Senior Editor at Leafly, creator of SF Weed Week, curator of the Get to the Bag art exhibition in sunny San Francisco.